Hey guys, wait! Before the story continues, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow.
The desert was silent. Too silent for a living world. The sky above was dark red, like a wound that never healed. Hot winds moved across the sand, carrying dust, broken bones, and the smell of something dying. And in the center of that dead land lay an alien woman. Alone. Her name was Lyra, but in that moment, she didn't even remember it. Her mind was weak, her breathing slow, her body shaking. She was tied to a large stone slab with metal chains around her arms and legs. The stone was old, cracked, and marked with strange symbols. It looked like a place where people did sacrifices. Lyra lifted her head only a little. The light hurt her eyes. She saw shadows above her big, wide wings circling in the sky. Sky vultures, waiting for her to die. Their sharp cries cut the air like knives. Every time they came lower, she closed her eyes and whispered the same word, again and again. Why? Her throat was dry. Her voice was weak. But the question kept coming. Why did her own family abandon her? Why did they leave her as prey? Why did they walk away without even looking back? The wind grew stronger. Sand hit her skin like needles. The vultures cried louder, closer. Lyra remembered only pieces of what happened. She saw her father's face, cold, silent. Her mother looking away. Her brother refusing to meet her eyes. They called her dangerous, unfit, a burden to the clan. And then, without any fight, without any last words, they left her there. A tear slid down her cheek. She thought it would be her last. The largest vulture dropped from the sky. Its wings folded in, its sharp beak open, its talons ready to cut her skin. Lyra's heart beat fast, the only part of her still strong. The creature shot toward her, faster, faster. Then suddenly, bang! A loud sound echoed across the desert. The vulture screamed and flew back up. The others paused, confused. Lyra blinked. Her vision was blurry, but she saw movement far away. A figure, tall, two-legged, walking fast. No running. A human. Dust followed behind him as he ran. His clothes were torn, his armor scratched. He carried a half-broken plasma rifle in one hand and a small backpack in the other. Sweat covered his face, and his breath was heavy, but his eyes were sharp, focused on her. "Hey!" His voice boomed across the desert. "Get away from her!" The vultures screamed and dove at him instead. But the human didn't stop. He lifted his broken rifle and fired another energy shot. It crackled weakly. The gun had only a little power left. But even that was enough to scare the vultures for a moment. He reached Lyra, dropped down beside her, and checked her pulse. Alive. Barely, he muttered. His name was Ethan Hawley, a human soldier who had crash-landed on the planet 2 days earlier. He didn't know this alien woman. He didn't know her story. But he knew one thing. She didn't deserve to die like this. Ethan tried to unlock her chains, but they were too strong. So he pulled out a small cutting tool from his belt. It sparked as he sliced through the metal. Every second, the vultures came closer. Their shadows grew darker on the sand. "Hurry, hurry!" Ethan whispered. Finally, click. The last chain broke. Lyra fell into his arms. She was light, too light, like she hadn't eaten in days. Ethan lifted her, holding her carefully, as if she would break. "Can you hear me?" he asked. Her lips moved. "Lee-Ra." "Okay, Lyra, stay awake. I've got you." The vultures screamed again, this time from behind. Ethan turned. The biggest one was diving straight at them, claws wide. He didn't have time to aim. He didn't have time to think. So he did the only thing he could. He threw himself forward. Using his body to shield Lyra, the vultures slammed into the sand behind them. Missing by inches. Ethan ran. The storm winds hit harder now, blowing sand into his face. His crashed ship was miles away. Too far. But he remembered an old bunker he passed earlier, half buried under rock. That was the only hope. "Hold on," he told her. "I'm not letting you die. Not today." Lyra opened her eyes slightly. She saw his face, tired, dirty, wounded, but full of something she never saw before. Kindness. Her own family left her to die. A stranger was fighting the whole desert to save her. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel alone. And as Ethan carried her into the storm, the world around them roared with danger. But Lyra felt a small spark of hope. A human. Her salvation. The storm screamed across the desert. Sand and rocks whipped at Ethan and Lyra as he ran. His arms ached from carrying her, but he didn't slow down. Every second counted. The sky was dark, streaked with lightning. The air smelled of burnt metal and dust. Somewhere in the distance, the cries of the vultures still echoed. Lyra leaned against his chest, shivering. Her skin was cold, her body weak. Her mind was foggy, but she could feel the heat of his determination. Humans, she realized. They were strange creatures. Fragile, yet fearless. Not like her family, who had abandoned her without a second thought. "Where?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the storm. "Don't talk yet," Ethan said. His eyes scanned the horizon. "We need a safe place. There's a bunker not far from here. I saw it earlier, half buried in the rocks." Lyra nodded weakly. She tried to remember the path, but the storm made it impossible. She closed her eyes, trusting the human to guide her. The ground beneath them was uneven. Sharp rocks cut Ethan's boots. Every step was a risk, but he didn't stop. Behind them, the vultures circled, watching, waiting. Their patience was endless. Their hunger was deadly. As they ran, Ethan tried to calm his own fear. He had fought humans, aliens, and even beasts, but nothing like this. A helpless alien woman, abandoned by her own kind, and an entire desert full of predators. He had no reinforcements, no one to help. Only him. Only his courage. "Hold on, Lyra," he said, gritting his teeth. "We're almost there." Finally, after what felt like hours, the bunker appeared. It was half covered in sand, old and cracked, but it was solid. The storm had hidden it from plain sight, and maybe that would save them. Ethan pushed open the heavy metal door. It groaned, but it held. Inside, the air was still. The walls were lined with old supplies, broken machinery, and empty crates. Dust covered everything, but it was safe, for now. He gently laid Lyra on a makeshift bed of old blankets. Her breathing was shallow, but steady. He looked at her closely. Bruises marred her skin, cuts and scratches from the desert and the vultures. She was weak, but alive. "You're safe." "For now," Ethan said softly. "I won't let anyone hurt you again." Lyra looked up at him. Her violet eyes were full of pain and confusion. "Why?" she whispered. "Why are you helping me? My family. They left me, everyone. Leaves me." Ethan's face hardened. "Because no one deserves to die like that. Not you, not anyone. My people, we fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. That's what humans do." She blinked. Humans. They were different from what she had learned. Different from what her clan had told her. They were not weak. They were brave. And maybe kind. Ethan removed his jacket and carefully wrapped it around her shoulders. She shivered less, but her eyes stayed on him, studying him. Strange, she felt no fear. Only safety. She had never felt this before, not even with her family. The bunker was quiet, but danger still lingered outside. The vultures could return. Perhaps her family had sent hunters. Or worse, the desert itself might not forgive her survival. Ethan checked his weapons, repairing his small energy rifle as best as he could. He needed to defend them both. He needed to keep her alive. Lyra's hand brushed lightly against Ethan's arm. You saved me. When no one else did. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. Why? He looked at her, meeting her eyes. Because saving someone is worth more than anything else. It doesn't matter who they are. Or what they are. Life is precious, always. Lyra's heart beat faster. She had heard lies all her life. Words of fear, power, and betrayal. But now, these words were different, honest, real, from someone who risked everything for her. Outside, the storm roared. The desert had not forgotten them. But inside the bunker, a fragile hope grew. Lyra realized that maybe, for the first time, she had someone to trust. Someone who would not abandon her. Ethan carefully helped her sit up. We'll rest a little, he said. Then we move again. The desert is not safe. But we'll make it, together. Lyra nodded. She did not yet know the human's full strength, or what lay ahead. But one thing was clear. For the first time in her life, she was not alone. And maybe, just maybe, she had a chance to survive. And in the quiet darkness of the bunker, the storm outside and the danger all around, two unlikely companions began a journey neither of them would forget. The bunker was quiet now, except for the soft hum of the storm outside. Lyra lay on the old blankets, her body still weak, but her mind was starting to remember. Pieces of her life, of her family, of her past, began to rise like shadows from a deep, dark well. Ethan sat nearby, cleaning his half-broken rifle. Every now and then, he glanced at her. Lyra was alive because of him, but he knew the desert was unforgiving. Hunters could still be out there, or worse, her family's people might come to finish what they had started. He needed to know what he was protecting. Lyra's violet eyes opened slowly. She had not spoken much since he rescued her. The words were heavy in her throat. Finally she whispered, "My family. They are not like yours. They fear me." Ethan paused. "Fear you? Why?" She looked down, ashamed. "I was born different. My clan, they call it a curse. A power no one can control, they said. I would bring death pain. Disaster." Her voice trembled. "So, they decided I should die." Ethan's brow furrowed. "Your own people left you to die. Because of fear?" "Yes," Lyra said softly. "They tied me to the sacrifice stone. Left me for the vultures. Because they believed it would. Protect them from me." Ethan's fists clenched. "No one deserves that. Not anywhere. Not on Earth, not in this desert, not ever." Lyra studied him. His anger was different from what she knew. Her family was cold, silent, calculating. They punished out of fear, out of rules, out of old traditions. But this human, he was angry because he cared. He was angry for her. She had never seen that before. "Why?" "Do you care?" she asked. "I am. Just a weak alien woman. You could leave me here and live." Ethan shook his head. "I don't leave people behind, humans. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Strength isn't just about power. It's about heart, and you need a heart to survive." Lyra blinked. Heart. She had learned to hide hers. To hide fear, to hide tears, to hide herself. Her family taught her that weakness was death. But now, a stranger risked everything to save her life. For the first time, Lyra felt a flicker of hope. But she also felt fear, not of the desert, not of the vultures, but of trusting someone. She had learned that trust always ended in betrayal. I don't know if I can trust anyone," she said softly. Ethan smiled faintly. "You don't have to trust me fully yet. Just survive with me. One step at a time. That's all." Lyra closed her eyes. Memories of her clan flashed in her mind, her father's cold glare, her mother's silent disapproval, her brother's hatred. And then she remembered something else, the strange energy she could feel inside her, always growing, always powerful, always frightening, her ability. The very reason her family had abandoned her, she had never shown it to anyone. She had learned to hide it, to stay small, to be invisible. But here, with this human, she felt it stirring. Something told her that if she revealed it, she would not be feared. But maybe understood. Ethan cleaned his rifle in silence, sensing her change. He didn't push. He didn't ask. Humans knew that some things could not be forced: trust, friendship, power. But he knew one thing clearly. Whatever this power was, it was dangerous. But it might also be the key to her survival. Lyra looked at him. Her violet eyes shone with a mix of fear and hope. If my family, if they come, I don't think I can fight them alone. You won't have to, Ethan said. I'll fight with you. Humans survive because we never give up. And you have something no one else has. A power that can save you. Don't hide it. Not now. The storm outside raged louder, shaking the walls of the bunker. But inside, something quieter, stronger, began to grow: trust. Lyra felt it inside her chest, a small warmth she had never known. She had survived the desert, survived her family, survived the vultures. And maybe, just maybe, she could survive the rest with this human by her side. Ethan. She whispered, almost afraid to speak. Yes? Thank you. For saving me. He looked at her, tired and serious. Don't thank me yet. We're not out of this desert. Not by a long shot. But we will make it, together. And with that promise, Lyra realized something she had never believed before. There was hope in the universe. Maybe even for someone like her. Somewhere outside, the desert waited. But for the first time, she didn't feel alone. She had a companion, a protector. A human who showed her that courage and kindness could exist, even in the deadliest places. And for Lyra, that was a beginning. The bunker was quiet, but the desert outside never slept. Lyra could feel it. The ground vibrated slightly, almost like a warning. Her violet eyes darted to the cracked metal window. Dust swirled in the wind, hiding movement at first. But then she saw them. Figures tall, armored, moving with precise, deadly speed. Her heart sank. Her clan, her family's hunters. They had found her. Ethan noticed her tense posture. They're coming, she whispered. He stood, brushing off dust. Good, then we fight. Lyra's weak body tensed. Fight? Against her own people? Against trained hunters? She had been abandoned, left to die. And now she had to face them. Fear twisted in her chest. Ethan moved her behind a stack of metal crates. Stay here. Don't move. The first hunter appeared at the entrance. His armor was black and jagged, his face hidden behind a mask. He scanned the bunker slowly, methodically. He raised his weapon. Ethan fired first. A pulse of energy shot from his half-broken rifle, striking the hunter's armor. Sparks flew, but the hunter barely flinched. He was trained, precise, ruthless. Lyra's eyes widened. This wasn't just danger. This was death waiting. 2 more hunters entered. Ethan didn't wait. He grabbed a crate, pushing it to block the doorway. The hunters advanced, moving like predators. Every step they took made the ground vibrate, every sound a warning of what would come if he missed. Ethan's rifle cracked again, low on energy. He cursed under his breath. The hunters were too strong to shoot easily, too fast to outrun. His only chance was strategy. He set small traps with metal scraps and wires he found in the bunker. When the first hunter stepped on one, a spark of electricity shocked him, making him stumble. Ethan grabbed a pipe and swung it, hitting the next hunter's armor with a loud clang. The last hunter ducked, firing a laser blade that scorched the wall inches from Ethan's head. Lyra watched, Frozen at first, but then something inside her stirred. Humans, fragile, yet fearless. Even against impossible odds, Ethan fought without fear. His body moved fast, his mind sharper than she had ever seen. Her people, her weak, cruel clan, they had abandoned her. Yet this human risked his life for her. Ethan. She whispered, almost in disbelief. He glanced back. Stay low. Don't get in my way. The hunters regrouped outside the crates. They were calculating, working together, but Ethan was faster in thought, quicker in movement. He dodged their blades, struck sparks from their armor, pushed Lyra to safety. But then, a hunter grabbed a loose pipe behind Ethan, swinging it toward him. He blocked with his rifle, but the force knocked him to the ground. Pain shot through his arm. Lyra's heart raced. She couldn't just watch him die. She rose slowly, instinctively touching the ground with one hand. A faint glow appeared under her fingers. The air pulsed slightly. Nothing huge, but it was enough to make the hunter stumble, his balance off. Ethan looked at her in shock. Lyra, what did you? The glow faded, but Lyra's eyes widened. She didn't understand it fully yet, but she had felt it, her power. The energy that her family feared. The same energy that had kept her alive inside, waiting for the right moment. The hunters recovered, more careful now. They noticed the glow, hesitated. Their confidence faltered for the first time. Fear ran through them, a hint of the power they had tried to destroy in her dot. Ethan got to his feet, blood and dust on his face. Good, that's enough time. Let's move. He grabbed Lyra's arm, guiding her toward a narrow side tunnel in the bunker that led deeper underground. The hunters shouted behind them, but they were cautious now. They didn't know the full extent of Lyra's power, and even trained killers hesitate in the face of the unknown. Inside the tunnel, the darkness swallowed them. Ethan's hand stayed on Lyra's shoulder. You okay? He asked. She nodded, her mind racing. I think so. You're stronger than you know, he said softly. And don't worry, I won't leave you. For the first time, Lyra realized that survival was not just about running or hiding. It was about trust, courage, and the willingness to stand with someone when the odds were impossible. Outside, the hunters' shouts faded. But Lyra knew this was only the beginning. Her family would not stop. They would come again, and this time, she wouldn't run alone. The tunnel was dark, but Lyra could feel every vibration in the ground. Ethan guided her carefully, his hand firm on her shoulder. They moved quickly, but her mind was racing faster than her feet. Her clan's hunters were still out there, waiting. Her life depended on every second, and for the first time, she felt the energy inside her stirring dot. It started as a faint warmth under her skin. Then, a subtle pulse in her hands. She had always felt it, the strange power her family had feared, but never fully understood. Until now, Ethan paused and looked at her. Are you okay? Lyra shook her head. No. Something is happening. Inside me. He frowned. Explain. She took a deep breath. It's my power. I can feel it, I think. I can control it now. Ethan studied her. Humans didn't usually encounter powers like this, but he had learned one thing from experience. Survival depended on using every strength you had. And Lyra's strength could save both of them. They reached the main exit of the tunnel. Light from the desert storm outside flooded in. The vultures and hunters had regrouped, waiting to strike. Lyra felt fear, but she also felt something new, determination. Stay behind me, she said. More to herself than to Ethan, the hunters emerged. Their eyes wide with surprise as they noticed the strange glow radiating from Lyra's hands. Energy rippled around her, faint at first, like waves in water. Then stronger. Sparks leapt into the air. She felt it, the raw force that her family had tried to suppress. And she knew she could use it. One hunter stepped forward, raising a weapon to strike Ethan. Lyra's hands glowed brightly, and the air vibrated with her energy. A shockwave exploded from her palms. The hunter was thrown back violently, crashing into the sand. The others froze, fear flashing in their eyes. Ethan stared, amazed. "Lyra, that's incredible." I didn't know I could do that," she said, her voice trembling. She had always hidden her power. She had always been afraid of it. But now, in the desert, fighting for her life, she had no choice. The hunters advanced again, but this time cautiously. They had seen her strength, and fear made even the deadliest warriors hesitate. Ethan fired his rifle from the side, targeting weak points in their armor. Lyra focused, sending pulses of energy at the ground beneath their feet. Sparks and rocks flew, scattering them. The battle was short but intense. The hunters realized they were outmatched, and they retreated, shouting warnings to report what had happened. Their confidence broken, they disappeared into the storm. Lyra's hands stopped glowing. She sank to her knees, exhausted but alive. Ethan knelt beside her, brushing sand from her hair. "You're amazing," he said, voice filled with respect. "Don't ever hide who you are. That power, it's yours, and it can save lives, including mine." Lyra looked at him, surprised. Her family had always told her that her power was dangerous, a curse that brought nothing but pain. But this human, this stranger, he called it strength. He saw it as a gift, not a curse. I never thought anyone could see it like that," she said softly. Ethan smiled. "Humans see what others often miss. Courage, strength, heart. It doesn't matter what planet you're from. If you use it to protect others, that's what counts." For the first time, Lyra understood. Her clan had abandoned her out of fear. Her family had been weak in heart, despite their power. Ethan, a human, had risked everything for her, and together, they had survived. She stood slowly, her legs trembling but her resolve stronger than ever. The desert outside was still dangerous, still alive with predators and hunters, but she no longer felt helpless. With Ethan by her side and her power awakened, she knew she could face anything. Ethan offered his hand. "Ready to keep moving?" Lyra took it, her fingers gripping his firmly. "Yes, but this time, I fight too." And as they stepped back into the storm, Lyra felt something she had never felt before: hope, courage, and the raw fire of her own strength. Together, human and alien, they were unstoppable. The desert had tried to break her. Her family had tried to destroy her. But now Lyra was awake, and nothing would stop her. The desert stretched endlessly before them. Red sand, jagged rocks, and storm-darkened skies. The wind howled, carrying grit and danger with it. Lyra and Ethan moved cautiously, their steps quick but careful. Every shadow could hide a predator. Every gust of wind could reveal their presence to the hunters, still out there. Ethan adjusted his half-broken rifle. "We can't stop. Not until we reach the canyon. It's the safest route I know. The cliffs and narrow paths will give us cover." Lyra nodded, still struggling to keep up, her body tired from the battles and storms. Yet, something in her chest burned brighter than exhaustion, her power. She could feel it pulsing, guiding her, giving her strength. She had survived abandonment, vultures, and hunters, and now she would survive the desert. As they moved, Lyra noticed strange markings in the sand. Footprints, not human. The hunters had been here before. The desert was alive with threats, but she wasn't afraid anymore. Not with Ethan by her side. Why? Why do humans help others like this? Lyra asked, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft, almost afraid it might vanish in the storm. Ethan looked at her. "Because it's the right thing to do. Humans survive by helping each other. Strong or weak, alien or human." Life is worth protecting. That's our way. Lyra thought about her family. They had left her to die. Their power, their rules, their fear. None of it mattered. Humans, fragile as they were, showed more courage and heart than anyone she had known. And this one human, Ethan, had risked everything to save a stranger. For the first time, she felt something she had never felt: trust. The canyon appeared in the distance. Tall cliffs rose like walls, jagged and dark, casting long shadows. The narrow paths offered protection from the desert's creatures and hunters alike. Ethan led the way carefully, his experience obvious in every move. Lyra followed, her energy senses alert. She could feel every vibration of the ground, every movement in the air, every heartbeat around her. "Stay close," Ethan whispered. "The paths are narrow. One mistake, and the fall could kill us both." Lyra nodded. She stayed near him, using her power subtly to sense danger ahead. The desert was treacherous, but together, they were stronger. Hours passed. The wind battered them, the sand burned their skin, and their muscles ached. Yet, they pushed on. Lyra realized she had never relied on anyone before. Her family had demanded obedience and silence. Humans demanded courage, but they also offered choice. Choice to survive, choice to fight, choice to trust. At a narrow cliff path, a drone appeared, hovering silently above the canyon floor. Its sensors glowed red, scanning for movement. Lyra felt it first, a faint vibration, a pulse of energy in the air. "Drone," Ethan whispered. "Stay low." The drone detected movement and fired a warning shot. Sparks flew from the canyon wall as Ethan grabbed Lyra and ducked behind a rock. Lyra extended her hands instinctively, sending a pulse of energy that disrupted the drone's sensors. It wobbled, sparks flying, before crashing into the canyon floor. Ethan grinned. "Nice work." Lyra felt a small smile. For the first time, using her power was not frightening. It was freeing. It was survival. It was her. As they climbed higher, Lyra glanced at Ethan. "You're amazing," she said softly. "I've never seen anyone like you." Ethan laughed quietly. "You'll see more humans like me. Most are scared, weak. But some, we stand for others. We fight for the helpless." Lyra thought of her own people. They had the power, the rules, the strength. But they lacked heart. Humans, fragile as they were, had courage that surpassed strength. Ethan had shown her that, risked his life to teach her that, and guided her through the desert to survive. Night fell, and the storm eased. Stars peeked through dark clouds, shimmering above the canyon. Lyra and Ethan sat on a cliff edge, resting. Lyra touched the ground lightly, feeling the pulse of life and energy around them. She had survived the desert, survived abandonment, survived hunters, and now, she had learned the human way of courage, heart, and hope. Ethan glanced at her. "We're not safe yet, but we're closer than before. One more night, and we might make it out alive." Lyra nodded. "I trust you." Ethan looked surprised. "That means a lot. Trust is everything out here." For the first time, Lyra felt safe. Not because the desert was kind, not because hunters were gone, but because someone had chosen to stand with her. Humanity had shown her its strength, not just in power, but in heart. And as they rested, preparing for the next leg of their journey, Lyra realized something new. Survival was no longer just about herself. It was about protecting each other. It was about hope. It was about courage. Together, human and alien, they would face the next danger, whatever it was. Together, they might even survive the impossible. The canyon stretched wide before them, shadows twisting under the pale light of the twin moons. Ethan and Lyra moved cautiously, every step measured, every sound a warning. The desert behind them was silent now, but they both knew that silence meant danger. From the ridge above, a fleet of sleek warships appeared, hovering in the sky. Their shapes were sharp and black, and insignias marked them as the clan that had abandoned Lyra. Her heart sank. Her family had followed them. They had come for her, for the final sacrifice. Ethan's hand tightened on the rifle. They want her. They want you. But they'll have to go through me first. Lyra swallowed, fear and anger mixing inside her. I'm not afraid anymore, she whispered. The glow in her hands flickered faintly, ready to surge. The clan's ships descended, casting large shadows over the canyon floor. Soldiers jumped out, weapons ready. Their leader, Lyra's father, stepped forward, his eyes cold and hard. "You were a mistake," he said. His voice carried over the wind. "You bring shame to our name. Hand yourself over, and I might let the human live." Ethan stepped in front of her. "No, I don't leave anyone behind." Lyra felt something powerful rising inside her. Her clan had tried to destroy her, to hide her, to make her powerless. But now, with Ethan by her side, she didn't have to hide. She didn't have to be afraid. She raised her hands. Energy rippled outward, brighter than ever. The ground shook. Rocks lifted slightly, hovering around her. The air pulsed with power, alive, fierce, unstoppable. The clan's soldiers froze. Fear replaced arrogance. They had hunted her before, but they had never seen this. "Father," Lyra said, her voice strong and unwavering, "I am not your weakness. I am not your burden. And I will not be afraid anymore." Her father's eyes narrowed. "You are mine to command." Lyra laughed softly, a sound sharp and beautiful. "No one commands me. Not you. Not anyone." Ethan fired his rifle at advancing soldiers, giving Lyra space. But her power was enough. She released a massive pulse, an energy wave that spread across the canyon floor. Soldiers were thrown back, armor scorched, weapons shattered. Rocks and sand lifted like a shield around her and Ethan, moving with her will. The warships above fired, but Lyra's energy created a protective barrier, deflecting blasts and sparks. The desert shook, lightning flashing, winds roaring. She had finally accepted herself. Her power, feared by her family, was hers. A gift, a weapon, a shield. Ethan glanced at her. "You're incredible," he shouted over the storm. "I know," Lyra said, a small smile forming.